Hello. This is actually the 68th day, but I'm putting it as the 67th because I'm going to go on and finish comments about this prospectus. So this would be an afterthought to the prospectus that I did of my Handwerkershof. Designated work areas for the Handwerkershof or the Handwerkershof or the craftsman's village or whatever. I think I'm probably going to go with that, even though it'll puzzle people. They say, "What are you doing, Frank?" And I'm saying, "Well, I'm making a Handwerkershof, a place for people who work with their hands." Well, anyway, here are designated work areas. These are not exactly the craftsmen themselves, but it certainly is not simply an imaginary list of, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have this?" I have designated spots for all these activities, and these are only about half. This is the order that I mentioned them as I walked through in the prospectus. Archaeology. Tanning, I didn't actually mention tanning, I don't think. That's a problem because tanning can be very smelly, especially if it's not well done. Possibly looking down in the valley off to the left, possibly. I'm not sure about that one. Mining. The history of this area is mining. Farming is everywhere on the property. Well, no, it's not everywhere. Actually, it's the fields that you could actually hope to take a little tractor on, or a tractor on. Gardening is almost all over the place. It's all around the shops, along the fences. Exchange. By that I mean that FEDA, that marketplace, designated marketplace. Cooperage. Well, that's the first of the little buildings. A cooper makes barrels. But I would also make water wheels there and wooden gears for the gearing for water wheels and mills. A wheelwright, that's as part of sort of the blacksmith shop. A wheelwright right beside the same shop really as a wainwright. A wheelwright makes wheels, a wainwright makes wagons. The blacksmith shop right there in the middle, right beside to the right or to the going on, I came to the potter. In my imagination, that would maybe be the blacksmith's wife, maybe. A spot for poultry, to raise poultry, that was on the wagon bed. Wood gas generator. I'll generate a lot of sawdust and wood chips and stuff. I'll probably try with that. I mentioned a kiln. Now I'm thinking that kiln I'll put in another place. Come to the outhouse. Oh, I forgot the oven makers or the stove builders shop would be before we come to the outhouse. And incidentally, underneath all of these buildings, there will be passive solar collection through windows, just through old window sashes, so to warm the area underneath them, somewhat slightly. Methane generator or compost. This is where I'll deal with some of the manure from the animals. A leather shop or harness as well. Going on across the water, then a bathhouse, a laundry, a stamping and a grinding mill for glass is what I mostly have in mind there for stamping and grinding to recycle old glass. Kettles for work that's done in kettles. I don't know what to call it, a boiler. A tilt hammer. I've moved it where I want to have that slightly. A glass furnace, but that glass furnace would also share the space with a massive forge, I guess I would call it, and foundry. The beast. I think I'm gonna. It doesn't need to be an incinerator anymore. In the past, it has been an incinerator, but I think it's going to develop into a blast furnace or something like that. Charcoal making, wood drying. That would be over the beast, I think. Sifting. That's going through ashes and sifting out the metal. The granary where grain is stored, corn probably mostly. Other grain too. I don't know if I mentioned that one or not, but it'll be there on the left. Then grain processing, that's the mill itself. Usually people say, well, grist mill. I should have said grist mill. And there's a lot of machinery in there that I didn't really show you. Underneath that will be the power plant, unquote. Probably the most powerful water wheel on the property. One of many, but it will probably be the one that at its most could turn out maybe 2 horsepower. But I might have near there another form of power. A cold cellar, and I should have put in here brewer, or near there, and possibly an ice house. I'm thinking a little bit about harvesting ice off the pond. It would be easy to bring to that spot. All right, then I put a slash because going inside the lower part of Thomas Hockling Hall, on the left, that would be completely devoted to husbandry. Well, and the line shaft goes through there. Then on the right, there's the mechanic shop, and with it welding, a welder, sandblasting, and that's where the compressor will go. Sheet metal work and glazing on this really big table, and glazing and also screening. And then there are electrolysis vats. I can't remember if I showed them to you or not. Now, I've run out of space, so I'm going to stop and put more on the board. I'm going fast, I know, but so be it. See you soon. This looks like a lot. I know it's a lot, but I would like to remind you that these are all designated spots. This is not just an imaginary list. All right, going on. We've gone into the lower part of Thomas Hockling Hall, and we've gone past the electrolysis bins. We come to the Keller. That's the German word for cellar, you might call it. That's where cooking will go on. I call that Shirley's Keller because I can so imagine her so happily cooking at that place. Open fire cooking. There's a cook stove there as well, and other stuff. Baking would be there. Now, when you go outside the building on the right, composting once again to heat the wall is part of the idea, to heat that outer wall. Masonry, I'm not sure if I mentioned that one or not. Stone and mostly stone masonry. A greenhouse will be there somewhere, but I think it may be a temporary one that I can take down, put back up, or sell, or whatever. Wood milling, that's on the left on that big platform. The line shaft will come all the way from the water wheel through the building, over that big platform, all the way to the blacksmith shop, actually. Mixing, a spot for mixing, like soil, pot soil would be great. Bulk storage outside, stone, 2B, 1B, sand maybe, coal, firewood outside, that's on the right. Now, going up the lane, where the heat is coming out of everything, that I imagine that is a hypocaust. That's a Latin or Roman term for a warm floor. I don't know how warm it'll ever really get, but it'll be warmer than the rest because the bake oven will be under it. Then, going inside Thomas Hockling Hall, on the left, there's repair and recycling of appliances, electric motors, and generators, and things with bearings and stuff. A shop designated for that. Then the woodworker's shop. You could call him a joiner, maybe. That's underneath the balcony. Above, what's going to be up on the walls up there will be hand tools for working in the field. I've got many of them. And or for working outside, so I'll display them and hang them. Going on in the corner, then there's a site for sharpening. I made sure that's a place that will have lots of light because you have to have good light if you're going to sharpen things. Machining, I spelled that wrong. Machining, I think. That's that metal lathe that I've got, and a few other things. The machinist. A turner is somebody who works at a lathe. In this case, it would be a wood lathe. Then the window and door making would be in the corner. There's just doors stored there at the moment, but I've got a mortising machine, which I'm not sure if I showed you or not. I have two actually, but they would be used there probably. Part storage, those are those bins. Sewing, there's a corner, it's all full of window sashes now, but it's a place where it would be warm, so you could sit as you sewed. Entertainment, the stage itself, entertainment, music, drama, maybe even lectures, I don't know. But I think I may do something like, say, nothing electronic. There's no need. There would be no need in a space like that to have any kind of amplification. I'm not sure what I'll do about that. I'll have to consult my friend Thomas Hockling and see what he thinks about that. Now going outside, there's a dug well. It was up on the hill, and I discussed maybe making a big map room in that space. I'm not sure. The approach into the dug well is intended as a root cellar. Model making I didn't show you. It's actually right over here. I anticipate a time when I get too old to be going all over the farm and everywhere. This is all on one level, and it would be relatively warm, and I'll have a collection of small tools here. That's probably not exactly part of the Handwerkershof. All right, now, again, walking around, the sawyer. There'll be 3 sawmills, probably. An up and down sawmill and 2 farkers. So the sawyer will have plenty to do. I'll give a space for a ewer, somebody who instead of sawing wood, use wood and his tools. Somewhere in there, a fencer, someone who deals with the fences and also makes baskets and hurdles as well. That may actually be a little building which I haven't built yet, or maybe I'll use the neighbor's barn. Maybe I'll do that. That's probably what I'll do. I already passed up the fountain that I built, and I intend to put a small windmill on top of that fountain to basically just to pump water, I think, and to show what probably a Portuguese windmill is my thinking now with cloth sails, not like you think of as in Holland. Let's see, hostelry. All right, going upstairs and inside Hockling Gasthaus. A hostelry is the name I use for people who, they host people, they welcome people. A guest house. They make people feel good to be visitors. And that's going to have to wait a little bit. Now that's the upstairs. The downstairs will have animals on the one side. And there's more here than I can really tell you. And in some sense it'll be a repeat of the basement of the other barn. Up there I intend to have a place set up for weaving and other fiber work. It'll be dry and relatively warm. That's where I'm going to move my library, I think, ultimately, over there. It's around me here now. But that space is also going to be barn. As you go in the left side, will be hay and straw and underneath animals. But on the right, the hostelry. So threshing. Now, coming back out, there are going to be approximately 20 water wheels on this property, about 6 large, and many medium, and I don't know, a few that are just tiny vertical ones, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see, but they're around. Going up the hill, storage on the left, there I had said that's places, I've laid them, I store them on a contour so I can garden between them or farm or graze. But there'll probably always be something there, but I hope gradually that will go away. There won't be so much. Get to the top of the hill. I put down worship, not the moot point. That's a special spot, and I even called it the healing hill. So anyway, I said, well, I said for the temple, maybe I don't know what to call it because it would be not anything permanent really, but to the earth, wind, fire, and water, because they're all around you up there. I don't know. Now you go into the woods where I went to check on my cows, and a woodsman does coppicing and other things. My wife and I don't have that much woods, but still enough that it would keep somebody busy if they dealt with it well. And then coming back around, and the terraces. That's over the steep side. That is prime for terracing, I think. And also down in below there is another spot for archaeology, to study archaeology. But I put this on here also last because as I came around and returned to the site the spot where I started, I went through that area which is basically waiting to be figured out. All right, that's a lot. I know that's a lot, but please remember, I'm forgetting some. I'm probably forgetting some critical ones, like a dentist, but I don't know. In any case, I'm going to give it up at this point, and this will conclude my prospectus, at least for now. Bye.